let's look at some examples. Let's talk about tahara of clothes. On a cloth or clothes. In the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, people used to have one cloth they would wear or one set of clothes. They weren't like us. They didn't have wardrobes full of one for Monday, one for Tuesday, one for work and one for gym and one for football and one for masjid and one for this. They didn't have this. They had one, the same one was for everything. The Ahnaf, they say, now we're going through few scenarios. There is no end to scenarios. If you want to spend from now until end of December doing scenarios, you can continue because there's no end to it. You can have unlimited amount of scenarios and then you can say what the fiqh ruling would be. But what is more common, possibly, is first, Ahnaf say if a musalli is praying, okay, if a musalli is musalli is a person who's praying. If a musalli, while going to sajda, while in sajda, his gown or something which he is wearing, it passes over a najas place. Najas meaning a filthy place. They say his salah is fine. As long as the place under his feet and the place where he puts his hands in sajda and the place where he puts his knees and where he puts his forehead, that these places were clean, and while he was doing sajda and his gown went over a place which was not clean, they say his salah would be fine. Given the condition that it hasn't made it wet, meaning if let's say the place was so wet that the wetness has transferred onto his clothes, we're not saying that. We're saying the place itself is filthy. Place needs to be clean. Where he's standing is clean, but while going to sajda, place next to it was dirty. His cloth went on it. The filth hasn't gone to his clothes, but is still in the filthy place. They say his salah is fine. Why they say that? Because they say this hasn't made him hamilun najasa, meaning he is not carrying najasa on him. So that makes that's a point you need to make note of. Ahnaf, they say a person should be pure and clean from najasa, i.e. he shouldn't be carrying najasa on himself. There's a difference. If my cloth went on a place, if my hand here is resting on the table, this table is not clean because earlier, let's say some child urinated, no one has washed it, but it is dry, but it's still unclean. It's not pure. Me resting my hand on it, and then there is no sign of it has dried and it's unclean. If it was floor, I couldn't pray on it, but nothing has transferred on my clothes. Ahnaf say, as long as this place was not the place of his feet and his hand and his knees and his forehead, and his cloth went on it while in sajda, even though that place was dirty and impure or impure, his salah is fine because he's not carrying najasa. So what is a precondition for Ahnaf is the person shouldn't be carrying najasa on his clothes or body. But the place which need to be clean is where he's standing and his knees and his... So the other madhahib, for example, Hanbalis and Shafi'is, they say in that case, the scenario we are on, his salah will be invalid. And the way they look at it, they say, if a person is wearing clothes, these clothes have same ruling as him. The clothes have same ruling as him. Like a person needs to be away from najasa, his clothes needs to be away from najasa too. So the clothes carry the same ruling as a person. So in the same, where Ahnaf say he doesn't become hamilun najasa, he's not carrying najasa, he just fell on it. And what the place which needs to be fard as clean for Ahnaf is the place of feet, knees and your palms and your head. That's fard to be clean. So they say he's not carrying najasa and his place is clean. So because the carrying bit is in the Hanafi fiqh, makes the salah to be fine. But the other fuqaha, they say what? That the clothes carry the same ruling as a person. So when his gown, a long gown, lands on a place of filth, then he has landed on a place of filth and his salah is invalid. Okay? Some fuqaha, they said if a cloth is long, so much so when a person moves, that part doesn't move. If someone has a piece of cloth on him, which is part of his clothing, it's resting on the floor as such that he is praying salah in that place, that cloth is not moving. Then they are lenient, because for them, the part which we considered his body while he is praying, they'll say, إِنَّهُ لَا يَتَحَرَّكُ بِحَرَكَتِهِ, the one which is not moving with his movement, then he may be let off. Okay?
You say that?
Well, Hanafis don't care in the first place, so it can't be Hanafis. Because he's not hamil and najasa. And it will be Hanbali and Shafi'is. Okay. Because Maliki madhab, they don't consider a clothes touching impure surface lightly a problem as long as it doesn't absorb the najasa on the clothes. Okay? As long as it doesn't absorb the najasa on the clothes, he will not be hamilun najasa. So their madhab is near the madhab of Hanafis, that they will not consider it a problem. But the only difference is the Hanafis are stricter when it comes to the place of feet, knees and palms and head. They're stricter. They say that's fard. But the Maliki take the rule like the Hanafis without the exception of the feet, knees and palms and head. Yeah? Forehead. Good. You're stretching. I thought you're raising hand. Did you raise hand? Okay. You're good to go? Move forward. And all of the... Naam.
Why is there the ikhtilaf between the Ahnaf and the Shafi'i about the transfer of najasa, and then the others say the clothes is part of the body?
No.
One separated and one is one considered the same.
No. If the najasa transfers onto the clothes, that will impure the clothes, right? Yeah. We are talking about if the surface wasn't pure and the clothes which went on it, right, has not absorbed the najasa. We're not talking about if it's absorbed the najasa. We're saying being on that place. Ahnaf say he's not carrying najasa. Because he hasn't transferred on his clothes, he's not carrying najasa. The place being filthy is not a problem. It's not a problem as long as it's not under feet and knees and palms and head. Because when they say the place needs to be clean, it all needs to be clean, but that's the part which is fard. Because the other part is not fard. The salah is still fine. It doesn't mean a person should be careless. So for them, what's important, a person shouldn't be carrying a najasa. And that's the ruling regarding the space, is the fard or not fard space. So that makes, but the others, they don't look at the matter that way. They said all body needs to be pure, all place needs to be pure, and the like for the ahnaf, they say the body parts which touch the floor needs to be clean. But the others say when you are wearing clothes, that's like your body. So if they land on something najas, then your body, like your body, is in a non-tahara place, non-tahir place, or is in an impure place. So that will affect your salah. Making sense or not? Look, the thing which the all madhab take, there is وَثِيَابَكَ فَطَهِرْ. No one can disagree with that. Your وَثِيَابَكَ فَطَهِرْ. Your thiyab, your clothes, has to be pure for condition of salah. Then the Malikis and Hanafis, they say, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ. Allah wants ease. This is something which is, He didn't intend in the salah. It was outside His control. He went on it accidentally. But what's important, a part of clothing landing on a place which is impure has to be unintentional. If you had the option to not do that and you were careless, then all madhab say your salah is wrong. I missed out that bit, yeah? Has to be unintentional. You can't be intentionally praying and your clothes touching something impure while you had the knowledge of it and you had an option to go somewhere else. If it was unintentional, the ruling we said applies. If it's intentional, then all madhab would say, Jazakallah khair, pray again. Okay? And this is not acceptable. And what's the proof? What's the proof that unintentional is forgiven and intentional is not? We done the hadith. Barakallah fi. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he was praying in his shoes and he had filth on them or under them, right? It was unintentional. It was unintentional. So it is forgiven. So he took it off. But the moment he found out, if he continued praying, that would have been intentional. Then we would say, okay, intentional is okay too. But no, the fact that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam took his shoes off, that means unintentional is forgiven.